Today I'm talking to Professor Katharine Hayhoe from Toronto, Canada, like me. She's an atmospheric scientist and professor of political science at Texas Tech University. She's also the chief executive officer at Atmos Nature Conservancy's chief scientist, an IPCC report expert reviewer, and the author of the book Saving Us. Hi, Professor Hayhoe. My mom and I read your book Saving Us together, 20 pages every night, and I really loved it. I think it was the most important book I could ever read as I started my journey as a young climate communicator. There was so much good stuff in it, and I would say everyone on the planet should go out and read it so they know how important it is to keep talking about climate change to others successfully. I've only done about 10 videos so far, but it's already made me feel better to be talking about climate change instead of worrying all the time. My YouTube channel is called Children's Climate Championship. In your book, you mentioned that the word climate scares off people. My aunt actually mentioned that to me when I started this. Should I change my name so it does not mention climate?
I think that a lot of kids and a lot of young people are already really worried about climate change. So I don't think that climate would scare them off, but they would want to know, what can we do about it? So I love the fact that you have championship in there because that means succeed, right? And so you're talking about what we can do and how we can succeed. So I think you've got just the right title.
Okay, thank you. Sometimes when my mom and I go to climate rallies, people are rude. What would you say to do in that situation?
Unfortunately, if people are rude to you, and I have a lot of people being rude to me too, you can't have a good conversation with them because they're not going to listen to you. And so the best thing you can do is just say, I'm sorry, you're wrong. And of course, it's very Canadian of us to say, I'm sorry, right? So I'm sorry, you're wrong. And go talk to somebody else who isn't being rude.
Okay, what would you say, how would you talk to people who ignore me because they say I'm just a kid?
Oh my goodness. You kids are amazing. And if they ignore you, they're the ones who are being silly. But what I would do, and this is what I talk about in the book, is I say that begin a conversation with something that somebody already cares about. So they might think, oh, you care about it because you're a kid, but I'm not a kid, so I don't care about it. Well, you can try to figure out why they might care about it. And in my book, I talk about how if somebody cares about tennis, or they might care about going to a beach for a vacation, or they might be really interested in beer, which you are not old enough to be interested in yet. But they might be already interested in something that you can then tell them how climate change affects it. So try to figure out what they care about.
In your book, you say vision and optimism boosts our creativity and helps us think of solutions, and that talking about climate change is the first step to stopping it. I hope that my YouTube channel will become a place where kids can go to hear about all the kids and adults who are doing so much cool stuff to make the world a better place. What would you say was the most important thing kids should do to help to make things better today?
Well, what you are really good at is using your voices. In fact, I think you're better than adults at it. So when you look at what kids are doing, like you're making these YouTube videos, and there's kids who are on TikTok and social media, there's kids who are doing the climate strikes, there's kids who are suing the federal government for their right to a better future, there's kids who are at their school who are saying, hey, turn off the lights, stop wasting so much energy. Or what about all that food we're throwing out in the cafeteria? So you are amazing at using your voice, and that's the most important thing that you can do. And you know what? No matter who we are, no matter how old we are, no matter how big or small we are, we all have a voice, right?
Yeah, thank you. Um, thank you so much for sharing your awesome book and for joining me today, um, Professor Hayhoe.
Thank you for
Uh,
having me.
Click the link below to buy Dr. Hayhoe's book.
Perfect. That was awesome.